We're studying IGCSE biology and we're starting inheritance revision 5. And in the last class, we looked at a few questions. So recap, Lula, recap, tell me.
We learned about the pedigree diagram, Punnett square, and we learned more about sex-linked characteristics and features. And we defined we described the evidence of a color blindness in a sex-linked characteristic, and we did alleles for blood groups.
All right. So this is what we have, Punnett square and pedigree diagram. We'll look at that again today. First question. I need the answer in the chat. It's imagine this like a quiz. All right. So Lula, Diana, Mawadda, we have Najla, and we have Rana. Now Rana works with me, Najla works with me. Mawadda, have you done this chapter in school?
Which chapter? Inheritance. Yes, I have.
I have, or you have, all right. So try answering the question in the chat first. If you're not able to, then work with me, fine? Now, Lula, Diana, you should try on your own. Now, Najla, read the question. Question 1.
Which structure will be found in the nucleus of a body cell in a woman?
All right, in the nucleus of a body cell in a woman. Okay. Now they're asking us, first thing first, women always, we have men and women. Now a male is always, or let's say female and male. Let's write that here. Keep writing. Whatever I write on the board should be in your notebook.
Okay, sir.
Now female and male. Female are always, the chromosomes are always XX and XY.
Right, so do we write the question? And
No, not the question.
so I
Just
just write what you're writing, right? Okay.
So since female are XX and male are XY, so the answer is going to be X chromosome. B. Lula, you got the correct answer. That's good. Diana, listen to me or talk to me. Now, alleles are never X. Alleles are like this: XH or X capital H. Remember, these are alleles. So they're not asking us about, well, if they said XH allele, you could say that in a woman, but X is not an allele because it doesn't have anything on it, right? There's no B or there's small b, capital B, nothing is there. So X is a chromosome, and on that chromosome we have alleles. So we can say is X chromosome, or only X chromosome has alleles. Now, what is a chromosome? Chromosome is basically a length of DNA. A length of DNA. So only X chromosomes have alleles. Y are crucial. The examples of alleles could be let's say X capital H, X small h. These are alleles of the same. So the gene is H, okay, or let's say H. But for H, we have two forms. We have capital H and we also have small h. These are called alleles on X. So X can have two types of, let's say this is my DNA. This is the X chromosome. On it, I have these sections. Let's take this section only. Now, let's say this section in one person is blue, but in the other person, it's actually a different color. Some color like green. So that means the allele is exactly, the gene is exactly same. It is at the same place, but it's a bit different. The colors are different. What that tells us is, even though the chromosome is same, the section of the the chromosome is also the same, but the color is different or the property is different. I can say blue is capital B and green is small b. So these are alleles, basically different forms of a gene. Next question. Any doubts, anyone? Mawadda, Najla, Rana?
No.
No, sir.
Noor, read the question.
Owners of a successful race horses hope that the horse's offspring will be their parents. How does a young race horse inherit its characteristics?
So the question is asking us, how can we make sure that horse, let's say the offspring, horse of offspring has the same or is genetically identical to parent. So that's what this means is if the parent is brown in color, I want the horse to be brown as well. If the horse is white, then the offspring should also be white. How can we make sure that happens? Oh, okay, that's fine. They're not even asking us this. They're actually asking something else. Mawadda, read this part quick.
How does a young racehorse inherit its characteristics?
All right, horse like humans can be two types. It could be XX or XY. Now, since I know that Y does not have any characteristic, does not have any alleles, X has alleles. So we also know that alleles affect the characteristic. Alleles affect characteristic. Alleles are forms of the gene, are different forms of same gene that affect characteristic. Rana, read this out loud.
Yes, sir.
Read the definition of allele.
Alleles are different from the same gene that even the characteristics.
That affect the characteristics. Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, next thing is we know that X only has alleles. Okay. So does the mother? Let's say this is the mother, the female, and we have the father. Diana, can you tell me who has a higher chance of affecting the offspring, mother or father? Mother has two alleles, two chromosomes that can have alleles, but father only has one X. Mother has two X. So who can affect
Mother?
the mother? Because mother has actually okay. Mother can affect fine. Mother can affect more. But can it also get the characteristic from father? Can it?
Yes.
So it can get from father and mother.
Yeah.
So the answer is, the answer will be
A.
that it gets A. It gets from father and mother.
Will it get it like equally, or the percentage of getting more from the mother is more?
Now that is only for sex and characteristics, right? They're not telling us that. So in this case, we need to know that they get it equally from mother and father. So it is always equal. There's a 50-50 chance, right? Because when you cross it, there's a 50% chance of the characteristic for the horse, unless you have a sex-linked characteristic. Since they're not mentioning anything about sex-linked characteristic, you must choose the first option, which is equally from mother and father. Is that clear?
Yes.
So we'll just write it here. If not sex-linked or gender-linked, then equally inherited from father and mother. Next one. That can't be a D. It can't be father, obviously. Father only has one X chromosome. That's wrong. It is never partial placenta. So it has to be between these two. Since they're not mentioning sex-linked characteristics, it must be A. Now let's see another one. Najla, read the question.
Okay. What happens to the chromosome number after meiosis and after mitosis?
Mitosis. Yes, mitosis and meiosis. Now, meiosis is when I have one cell. Okay, let's say one parent cell, and I get 4 daughter cells. 4 daughter cells. So what is meiosis? Meiosis is when I have one parent cell and I get 4 daughter cells. This is all in the previous classes. I think we have done this, right? Diana, do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Now one parent cell, but mitosis is when I have one parent cell, but I only get two daughter cells. Daughter cell is basically the offspring. What I get when I divide these two cells. So one cell divides into 2 and gives me, or makes 2 cells. That's mitosis. But meiosis, one cell divides into 2 first, and then again into 2 to give me 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So we're getting 4 cells in my meiosis. Fine. But there's another thing that we need to know, that meiosis is this. Let's say this is chromosome is half. Chromosome number is half and genetically different cells. But it's the opposite in mitosis. Chromosome is constant, is not half, let's say constant at, and it's genetically identical. Now, Mavadda, read from the beginning for a parent cell, not for parent cell, for meiosis.
Okay. One parent cell, 4 daughter cells. Chromosome number is halved. Genetically different cells formed for meiosis. And for mitosis, one parent cell, 2 daughter cells. Chromosome number is constant. Genetically identical cells formed.
You need to write this in your notebook. That basically recaps everything on mitosis, meiosis. This is all they're going to ask you. I'll also give you an example if I'm at it. Meiosis is only for gametes. And this is for growth and repair. This is only for gametes, which are sperm and egg. I hope that's clear. Now, Najla, I want you to answer the question 3. Let's start with meiosis. What happens in meiosis? Does the chromosome number become half or stay the same?
Half.
Half. So these are wrong. Now, Rana, can you tell me what happens in mitosis? Does the chromosome number become half or does it stay the same?
Half.
In mitosis, no. Read this out loud.
Chromosome number is constant energetically in the cell reform.
That basically means is that they're going to be safe. So these are wrong. So the only answer possible is this. Any questions, anyone?
No, sir.
Is the correct answer. Now we've gotten that. Write this in your notebook, all of you, Rana, Mavata, Najla,
Okay, sir.
even Diana and Luna.
Okay.
Sir, I wrote.
Got it? Then Diana, read the next question. So Luna, so far you have gotten 2 answers correct. That's good. Question 4, Luna answer in the chat. Diana, read the question.
In the inheritance of ABO blood groups, when two parents have the genotypes IA capital, and IA capital, IO, what is the blood group of their offspring?
Okay, in the inheritance of ABO blood groups, 2 parents have genotypes IAIA and IAIO. What are the blood groups of this? What is the blood group of the offspring? How do I find this answer, Diana? Now you have to tell me and I'll tell you if it's correct or wrong.
We have to make that table.
The table, the Punnett square. Or
Yeah,
we call
the
it
Punnett
the cross. We have to cross it. So whenever you say you want to make a table, now we'll say we have to cross it. So we have IA from here. So all you have to do is look at the chromosomes. Look, one chromosome is IA, the other is IA. That's one parent. The other parent is IA and
IO.
IO. Tell me the offspring, quick.
IA capital, IA, and IA, IOIA, IOIA.
Now, this is actually, I would say, a waste of time. Why? Because we have done this type of cross in the notebook already. If I show it to you, just a second. Let's show it from here. Now, if you look at this, the one which I gave you in the last class, read this one. Now we have this one. What do I have here? I have IAIA and IAIO. So O is recessive, right? I'll first tell you. So OIO is recessive. I told you. So Diana, tell me what is the ratio of the phenotype? I have the genotype IA being formed, and I also have IO being formed. These guys. Can you tell me what is the phenotype of both of these? If you don't know, ask me.
Is it 3:1?
No. What happens is, now I just want to know the phenotype. If both of these are IA, what will the phenotype be? Will it be group A, group B, or group O?
A?
Obviously, group A. So if I have IA, that means I have group A, right? So because both of them are same, the only possibility I can have is group A. But IOIA, what do you think I have? O is recessive, A is dominant. Now what I mean here is, if I have different alleles, now I have O and A. What that means is, if the recessive one will never be shown, or the dominant one is always the phenotype. So what is the phenotype here? The dominant is always given preference. So Mavadda, what is the phenotype then of this genotype? IOIA.
Group A?
Group A. It won't be group OA because O is recessive. Group A. That's therefore I'm only getting one type of phenotype. So let's remove the other one. They're same. So let's just put this right here. I'm only getting one type. So what that means is I have a ratio of, let's just say I only have one thing. So there's nothing else there, right? And isn't this similar to this one? So the capital B is dominant, and I got the same thing here. I got ratio 4:0. It is similar to type 2 in your genetic diagram, which I gave you. monohybrid crosses. Lula, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Now this is actually wrong right here. Type 1 is 3:1. Okay,
I actually have written 3:1, but you told me it's 4:0.
so that's for type. No, you wrote it here actually. So it's correct here. So remove this one from there, right?
Okay.
I think. Yeah, below you wrote it correctly, but above you wrote it wrong. This one, type 2 is 4:0. Now we don't really say 4:0. We just say that we have only one type of them being formed. Because since small b is recessive, I will get capital B.
Is it okay just write the ratio even though they didn't ask for it? Because that's how I learned
Yeah.
it. I learned that like writing it with the ratios, so I don't forget it.
Yes, that's fine. You can write the ratio, but if they don't ask it, don't write it. So write it in rough. All right, you'll have a rough paper. You can write it on the paper with a pencil. But if they're not asking with you, don't write it there. Perfect.
Okay.
Now, right here. So the only possibility I'm getting is group A. So the answer in this is what is the genotype of the offspring or the phenotype of the offspring. So therefore, the only possibility I'm getting by crossing these is group A, because IOIA gives me group A, IAIA also gives me group A. So the correct answer is group A. Najla, any doubts?
No, sir.
Let's try this as well. Mawadda, read the question.
One parent has group A and the other parent has group B. Their first child has blood group O. What are the possible blood groups of their next child?
Okay, so one person has group A. Okay. So parent 1 is group A. Let's just make a cross again. First time, Mawadda, work with me on this. The other ones, I need the answer in the chat. Najla, say the answer in the chat, and Diana, Lula as well. Rana, work with me, or look, focus on the screen. Now I
Okay,
have
sir.
two parents. Parents are, one parent has group A, so let's write that here. Group A. The other parent, Mawadda, what is the other group?
Group B.
So group B. What are the possible genotypes of group A and group B?
The possible what?
The possible genotypes of group A and group B. Genotype.
IA,
For this one, IA, okay.
IA,
IA, okay. Next one,
IAIO.
IA, perfect, good job. For group B,
IA,
no.
B, IB,
A,
IB.
IB, IB. If you have A there, then you'll get group AB. So I can't have A. The only possibility is IB, IB, and IB, IO. These are the two possibilities. Now, since those are the possibilities, I need to realize which of these could the parents be. They're already telling me that the first child is blood group O. What is the phenotype for group O? Mawadda,
Group
phenotype
O.
for group O. Yeah,
Or
not the phenotype, the genotype for group O.
I don't know.
I'll tell you. So the thing is, since O is recessive, it must be IOIO only. If let's say I have IOIA, then it will become group A, right? So that's wrong. I can't have that. If I make it B, then that will become group B, because as B is dominant. So the only possibility I have is it must be IOIO because recessive, right? So the only possibility is recessive homozygous. What is the meaning of homozygous?
The
Mavada?
same.
Same. So it
They're
must
the
be same
same.
because the thing is recessive is only shown when you have both of them together same. If you have something else, if you have a dominant one, then who will be preferred?
Dominant.
The dominant.
Yes.
So okay, let's write over here. Let's say Rana, write this in your notebook. Write that, make the square, right? Group A has two possibilities, this and this, and group O has only one possibility, which is IO, IO. I'll tell you why. Write Y below it, and the answer will be because recessive phenotype is only shown when we don't have dominant. Bhavada, any questions?
No.
Are the others listening? Najla,
Yes, sir.
any questions
No.
so far? All
I
right.
think if I have a doubt in this, I'm gonna ask you tomorrow.
All right, fine. So just feel free to ask me, right? The next thing is I have this, fine. Now, so since this is group IO, right? They're telling me that one of the child must be IO. So what that means is if I write IO here, what is the how can I get IO from the parents? Mavada, tell me.
How can you get what?
How can I get IO as the offspring? I can only get it if the parent is also IO and the other parent also has IO, right? So that will give me IO.
Yes.
Is that clear? So the parent must, both of them must have IO. Does this one have IO, the first possibility?
No.
So that's wrong. And this is also wrong. So the only correct one is this. The one with IO, and IOIA and IOIB. Now tell me the other possibilities of offspring.
IOIA.
IOIA. Okay. Next.
IBIO.
IBIO.
Okay.
And
IBIA.
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 IA.
Huh?
All right. Right. IB and IA. All you have to do is put these together. IA, IB, IA. Now, so what possibilities am I getting? The possible phenotypes. Let's write it here. So the genotype which I'm getting is, or offspring. Let's look at the offspring. Let's write it like this. Offsprings. The offsprings are one. Let's look at the genotype first. The genotypes I'm getting are IO. I'm getting IOIA. I'm getting IOIB. Now I'm also getting IAIB. These are the four possibilities I'm getting. Now I need you to tell me, Najla the first one, Diana next one, Mawadda last, third one, Alula the last one. Tell me the phenotypes of these in the chart.
O. Group O.
So group O, who was that? Najla?
Me. Yeah.
All right. So that's group O. Diana next one.
Group A.
Okay, group A. Mawadda,
Group B.
Alula,
Group AB.
group AB. Now why is it AB? Because look, both of these
Because
are
both
dominant.
of them are dominants.
Exactly. Both are dominant. And this is called codominance. Now I have these possible offsprings. Let's see which of these are given in the table right here. They're asking us what are the possible blood groups can they have. Okay, from my table I can have group A, I can have group O, I can have group B, group AB as well. So can I have group A?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
D is wrong. Now can I have group B? Fine. All of them are saying I can. Okay. Can I have group AB? Yes, I can also have that. So this is wrong. Can I have group O? That's also wrong because they're saying no. So the only correct answer is A because I can have all of those. Any questions?
No, sir.
Now you must follow the proper method. What was the
I
first
thought
method
the
here?
question was asking to
Yeah.
find which blood group the next child will have, whether it's A, B, or AB or O.
Now the next child can have any of these. It's random. Okay. So it doesn't mean that okay that this is next to it or this is next to it. No, it could be any of these. You can have 4 people, 4 children that are only IOIO. That can also happen. That all 4 are IOIO. So this only tells us that there's a chance. That doesn't mean that if there are 4 children, one will be IO, group O, the other will be group A, group B. That's not what's happening. There could be one of these. So all 4 can be group A, or all 4 can be group O, or there can be a mixture. Some can be group O, some can be group B, some can be group AB. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
There's a probability. So what is the probability here? Since I have one of all of these, the chances or probability is how much, Nura?
Is to 0.
No. 1. I have one of this, one of this, one of this, one of this. 1 is to 1 is to 1. Is that clear? So 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. Any questions?
Okay, no.
Now that what you gave me right there is actually the ratio, not the probability. Now I would prefer if you write this in your notebook, the whole thing. Give this as step 1, and then give this one as step 2. And name the question finding or method of finding possible offspring from parents. Done. That's the question. And the answer is on the board. Write the whole thing. And also give the reasons. So write codominance and write must have IO of over here.
Done, sir.
Finished? Okay. Diana, Mawadda, Najla, Rana.
I'm still writing.
Still writing. Meanwhile, Diana, whoever has finished, try to do the next question. Answer in the chat. Quick now. I think Lula has 3 points. Everyone has 0. So give the answer in the chat. Okay, I've got one answer. Mawadda, your answer is correct. The score is Lula is 1, Mawadda is So Luna is 3, Mamata is 1. Diana is 1. Najla is also 1. Now, Rana, read the question out loud. Rana,
Yes.
read the question out loud.
Okay. Which competition of the chromosomes of egg bristle cell with the protein a boy?
Now, basically, they're asking us is, how can you get a boy? Now we know that the boy is going to be which chromosome? Between X and X, well, I know that female is X. Okay, female is XX, and I know that the male is XY. So Rana, what is the answer for this one? A, B, C, D.
It's the B.
Correct. So you got the point. Rana is also 1. Luna, you answered at the last. Mamata answered first, so Mamata gets 2 points, and Luna gets 1 point. Fine. That's what we have. Okay, next question. Question 6. Diana, read the question.
Ernest and Amy have 4 children of different blood groups as shown. What are the genotypes of Ernest and Amy?
Ernest and Amy. All right. So that's what we have. They have shown us the children. They have given us the 4 kinds of children we have. They have group A, group AB, group O, group B. Now, can you tell me which of these gives us this possibility? Now, first tell me, to have an A, group A, Ernest and Amy must have A, right? Okay, I've gotten one answer already. Anyone else answer? Anyone else wants to try? Who does not understand, tell me. We'll work together. If you want to try on your own, then write the answer in the chat. If you work with me, you don't get a point. If you do it yourself, you get a point. So who's trying with me? Rajla,
Yes, sir.
are you doing it on your own, or you want to do it together?
Can I try to answer? If I have a mistake, then you can explain
All
me.
right.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Mawadda, change of heart. Fine. I've gotten lots of answers here. Perfect. Lots of answers. Now, so technically, everyone has given their answer. So the correct answer is D. Why? Let's see why. To get a group O, both Ernest and Amy must have IO and IO. That's the only possibility that I can get group O, which is IO IO. Both must have IO IO to join together to give this card. And to get group B, one of these must have group IB. That's Chris has Amy has IB. So this can join with the IO to give me IOIB. Jack, well, Jack has AB, then I think both of them must have A and B. So they join together to give me IA and IAB. Finally, group A, well, one of them must have IA. So Ernest has IA, so I get IAIO. So that's how we solve it. We need to see first the first step is to always start with group O. If the child has group O, the only possibility is that both of them must have IO and IO. If only one of them has IO, that will not allow us to get group O. Let's see. If only one of these has IO, the option B, how does that work? Well, IO, and I have IA, IB. If I cross these guys, both not both of them have it. Only one guy has two of the IO. If I cross this, I'll get something like this: IAIO, IAIO, and IB, IO, and IB, IO. None of these are IO. Because to get IO, I need to get one IO from one parent and one IO from the other parent. So this is wrong. The only answer is option D. Any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Mawadda,
No, sir.
you gave the answer correct first, but you changed it. And in the exam, if you change your answers, you don't get the mark, right? So Lula gets 2 points
Yeah.
for this. Mawadda gets no points. Diana gets 1. Najla gets 1. So 2. Now, next question. Read. Don't read, solve in the chat. Quick. The one who gives it first gets 2 points. Rana, read the question out loud.
What's happened in meiosis?
Meiosis.
What is happening
Right.
in meiosis?
Right. Now, since we did this already, Rana, have you written this in your notebook? Tell me. Try to answer this. Now, what happens to are the cells genetically identical or not? Yes or no? In meiosis.
It's no.
They are. Okay, let's look at the notes from above. You need to write this in your notebook. When I see here, read this one. Meiosis. Rana, read this part.
Genetically different cells reform it. Yeah.
Formed. Yeah. So that means they're different. No, they're not same. So if they're different, that is the answer, right? Any questions? So you understand that genetically identical cells are not produced. So they are different, so not produced. Fine. So these are wrong. Next one. Chromosome number is halved. Yes or no?
Yes.
The answer is C. Everyone has given the answer C. So everyone gets 1 point. Now, if you want to get more marks, you have to answer more questions correctly. Now we are done with we're done with MCQs. You have more questions in the past year booklet. These are only 7 questions. You have 60 questions in the past year booklet. MCQ. Now I would also need you to print them out because we will be doing past repairs from next month. So I will give you ask the team or ask me for the past year booklet yearly, not the chapter wise, but also the yearly one. It would be better if you do it chapter wise, but we can also do it yearly, which you'll have to print.
Yeah, it's okay. Will you send us the pictures or the PDF?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm trying to find a question for you. It's quite difficult in the past written, right? Just a second. So past papers, it would be just a second. Meanwhile, I'll ask you questions one by one. Diana, where is the gene located?
In the chromosome,
The chromosome. Mawadda, where is the chromosome located?
hello? Sir, can you
Where
hear
is
me?
the, yeah, I can. Where
Oh.
is the chromosome located?
In the DNA.
No.
Can
In
I
the cell.
answer?
Answer, Lula.
The nucleus.
Nucleus of the cell. So gene is on the chromosome, chromosome is in the nucleus. Chromosome is the DNA. So chromosome is called the length of DNA. What is chromosome? Najla, what is chromosome?
It's in the inside the nucleus from where our
Yeah,
genetic.
Yeah, it is a
No.
length of DNA, or we can say a string of DNA. What is it? String of
Yeah.
DNA. That's what you write in the exam. What is a chromosome? It's a string of DNA containing genetic information. All of this, I think we have done it in class already. Just a recap. Now, tell me, what is a sex-linked characteristic? Lula.
A sex-linked characteristic is a characteristic in which the gene responsible is located on a sex chromosome and making it more common in one sex. Example, color blindness.
All right. Now, why is it more common in one gender than the other? Why?
It's because females are like carriers. They contain two X chromosomes,
Okay. What about
and
males?
male contain one X chromosome.
So they cannot be carriers. Therefore, they are affected more.
Yeah.
Okay. Mawadda, the question is, let's say, what is codominance?
Codominance is when the genotype is both dominant.
So both of them are dominant, and what happens? What is the result of this? What do you see?
That is dominant.
That's dominant. Okay. What is the effect of codominance on the phenotype? The answer would be that both the alleles have an effect on the phenotype. So it's basically the phenotype is affected by both the alleles because both of them are dominant. That is what codominance is. Codominance is when you have two dominant alleles and both of them have an effect on the phenotype. Is that clear?
Yes.
So the main part is having an effect on the phenotype. So if I have a white, for flowers, if I have one gene that makes white flowers, another gene that makes red flowers. If you put them together, you'll get pink flowers. Because white plus red is pink. Now, okay. I don't think this is a difficult chapter. There was a question which we were trying to solve in the last class. Just a second. Let's go back to the last class. Diana, question from you. Tell me, what are alleles? Diana,
Yes, sir. Can you repeat the question?
what are alleles? Najla, what are alleles? Diana,
They
Najla,
are
whoever answers first.
different
correct.
forms of same genes.
All right, good, correct. Full marks. Diana, do you understand now? Do you remember?
Yes. Yes.
All right. It's different forms of the same gene. It is in your notebook. So keep memorizing the notebook. Now, this question, can you see it on the board?
Yes.
Diana, read
Yes.
the question.
The diagram shows the inheritance of ABO blood groups. The blood groups of some of the individuals are given.
Blood groups of some of them are given. We have to find Priya's genotype. Rana, what do we have to find? Read this part, Rana.
What could be
Priya's
Biar's genotype?
genotype. Now, so Priya is the parent of these two people. And then again, we have these guys are parents of these two people. Right? Now, first tell me, what is the genotype of IO? Not so, I'm so sorry, not IO. Group O. What is the genotype of group O? Blood group O.
Can I say?
IO.
Okay. Who was the other one? Say the answer one more time.
IO.
IO. Okay. So since this guy is IO, O as well, this must be IO as well, right?
Yeah.
And the only way of getting A, now our job is to find what is the genotype of this person. So it must have IO, right? Because IO will join with IO1, it gets one from both the
To
parents.
make
So this
an
parent must
IO, we have to have two parents have to have an IO.
right. Now the other one, since we're getting an IA and this parent does not have any A, this parent must have an IA as well, right?
Yes.
So if I mix it up, I'll get an IA, IO. One of the parents must have an IA, otherwise you can't get group A. Now, so this is for Priya's daughter. We got that. Now let's look at these people right here. How can I guess this? Now, group B, okay. Firstly, to get group A, you have either IO, IA or IA, IA, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, but this person A does not have anything with B, right? Does it? Or first tell me, what is the genotype of group B? Possible genotypes of group B.
IB or IBIO.
All right.
Yeah.
Now moving on, I need answers from everyone in the chat. So no one speaks the answer. Is that clear? Because everyone has to get an answer. Let's say a 10 in answering. So I know that everyone is understanding. So answers in the chat only. You only get points if you give the answer in the chat. Now, therefore,
Now what do we have to find?
we have to find Priya. Who is Priya? Right? Now I know that this first parent does not have any A. So any B. So Priya must have a B from here. Because for us to get group B, one of the parents must have IB. Right? Now, since
Yeah.
group A,
Yeah.
so it must have IB. And to get IO, one of the files must also have IO, right?
Yes.
So this guy does have IO.
So no, it should be both of the parents should have an IO.
But yeah, that's when I have group O. This is not group O, this is group A. So,
Okay.
okay. Now let's see the possibilities here. This person, I could give it so the other option I have is either IA or I can have IBIO. This is what I get because I must have an IB to get a blood group B, right?
Yes.
Because if both the parents don't have IB, then there's no way. So IB must be there. And the other thing is, since let's look at these guys. Now, how do we know if it's IBIA or IBIO? Now we know that because in the options, look, there's no option given for IBIA. Is there? What is the possible answer given?
I think it's IBIO because
IBIO.
the IA is already that father have an IA.
Father already has an IA, so this must be an IBIO. Because that's the only option we have. Another option is if you make the cross, if I make the cross with IAIB, I'll see that I don't get these offspring. Fine. So the only option is IBIO. Any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now Mavata, ask me doubts.
Sir, I don't know why we chose O instead of A.
Where? This O?
Yeah, for the crayon. IBIO, why did we choose O instead of A?
Okay, IBIO instead of A because I don't have the option. There's no IBIA given in the answer, is it? Is there? And another thing
No.
is, let's see what happens if I have that option. Let's take this guy. So IAIB, cross it with IO. Yeah. Now I'll get the answer IOIA. Okay. I'll get the answer IOIB. Get the answer IAIA. I'll get the answer IAIB. Fine. But if I choose another option, let's say we don't really know if the parent is group IOIA or IAIA, right? What if the parent was IAIA? If I chose that option, just a second.
IAIA is dominant, right?
Yes, both of them are dominant. IA is dominant. So if the A parent was not IOIA and the parent was only IAIA, then the only possibility I'll have is IA, IA, and IAIB. Now, can you see I am not getting an IOIA in this? No children can have IOIA, but clearly this person has IOIA, right? So to get IOIA, this must be, instead of A, this must be O. So we get IAIO and IAIO. Any questions?
No.
And another thing is we don't have the
No,
option of
sir.
IA, IB anyways, right? They remove the option because it would confuse the students. So whenever you have first, you should know that since one parent is B, this guy must have B. And this guy is IO, the other parent must have an IO there. That's it. So I think that would be all for now. Just to recap again, we start from the bottom and we check to get IO. I need IO from both the parents, so both must have it. Fine. Then I see that this guy has a B, and this guy does not have any B. So Priya must have an IB, must have an IB, and so this guy has IO. She must also have an IO. So the only answer is IBI. Now the chapter is completely done. There's nothing else we have to do in this chapter. So far, is the chapter easy or difficult?
It's easy.
It's easy.
Diana, what do you think?
It's easy.
Easy. So next class we're starting. We'll actually look at something else. We look at natural selection, which is related to this chapter a lot. Everything is similar, but we will look at more examples of all of this. Now,
So what about variation?
yeah, variation is with natural selection. Variation and natural selection. That's the name of the chapter. So variation and natural selection. Chapter number, I think, is 19, I think, or 20 or something.
Yeah, it's 19.
19. So I know the book. Quickly, Najla, recap what did we learn? Or what did you do in this class?
We studied about the inheritance and about the chromosomes and how to, yeah.
Yeah, go on. Mawadda?
We also knew the difference between meiosis and mitosis, and like the alleles, they're different form of a gene.
Rana, were you able to understand? Recap, what did you learn in this class? Rana? Rana, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Oh,
Yes, I can. All right.
oh.
So what did you learn in this class? What did we do?
We did we have find the possible offspring, and
Okay.
yeah,
First two offsprings, and what have you written in your notebook?
we write meiosis and
And
what?
mitosis.
Yeah, meiosis and dominances
All right.
and
So yeah,
analysis.
and all right, alleles. That's it.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
good job. You wrote it all right. So hopefully we'll do more practice in different chapters, and we'll do a recap of this chapter afterwards as well when the exams are near. Now we have to finish the syllabus very soon, because my goal is not for you to just. My goal is that you finish the syllabus on time and you give the exam in May, June, and that you cover all the syllabus and get A stars. Is that clear? So I hope you guys understood. That's all for now. In the next class, we'll be starting natural selection and variation and natural selection, chapter 19.